Welcome to Divine Downloads, the show where you get the spiritual guidance and strategic actions to take you from fear and overwhelm into clarity and momentum so that you can live the life your soul was meant to. I'm your host, Cassandra, and this episode is all about this July 5th lunar eclipse full moon in Capricorn, as well as we'll touch on some of the other things that are happening with Mars and Aries, Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, retrogrades, you name it. We've got all sorts of fun stuff going on in the stars right now. But we're going to bring it on home, and I'm going to really unpack for you why right now is actually, I personally think, individually, a really beautiful time for us to get clear on what that next level of our life looks like, what that next step is for us, and create a game plan to move forward. So without further ado, let's dive in. So right now, first of all, we had a few days ago, we had Mars go into Aries. And if you guys were following me on Instagram, I shared a little bit about how I was highly affected by this. So I'm an Aries rising, and for any of these conjunctions, if you know where they're at on your chart, you'll know how they'll affect you. And oftentimes, even if you don't know where they're at on your chart, then the area that they're showing up in your life is likely the area they're at on your chart. It kind of just works that way. So I remember just a few days ago when Mars went into Aries, I woke up and it was like I was on fire. Not in a great way, though. I was kind of in a tirade. I was very angry at something, and it was like this intense force of anger inside of me that was just, it didn't even feel like mine. It was so crazy. It was like I just woke up angry, and angry at a situation that really didn't have any kind of like new evidence or inciting incident. But then, of course, later that day, I realized that Mars had just gone into Aries, which makes perfect sense for me, because I'm an Aries rising. And so let's just start off with that energy. I actually think, I know that can be like a scary example to share, but I think Mars and Aries is actually really good for us coming out of this quarantine, or even going back into this quarantine, whatever's going on. We came out, I keep on saying come out, but I know it hasn't really left yet. We've been in a period of feeling really heavy, a lot of us feeling really stuck, Mars was in Pisces, right? Pisces is my sun sign, but Pisces is the opposite of the Mars energy, right? Pisces is the opposite of Aries energy. Pisces just wants to relax and sleep, and it can kind of water down that energy. If anything, it's kind of this, that concoction almost feels like you're laying in bed and you're so exhausted, but you have all these things running through your mind that you really want to do, but you're struggling to kind of get the momentum to get them going. So we're coming from that energy, and I know a lot of my clients were feeling that way. I certainly was feeling that way in a lot of ways, and now moving into this Mars and Aries energy, which should feel like a breath of fresh air, because it's like that fire ignited underneath you, that quick starting, that let's do it, let's jump into it. Aries is so bold and energetic, and so there's a lot of good energy that we can utilize, especially having that Mars in Aries, and then a full moon and eclipse in Capricorn, right? Which is also very kind of like focused. Let's get stuff done. Let's accomplish things. So it's really, really nice energy. Of course, like any energy, any energy can go either way, right? So if you have an overload of energy inside of you, it can manifest as excitement, or it can manifest as anxiety. So similarly, this Mars and Aries energy, you're going to really feel that kind of fire, that get up and go, that will be kind of nice, I think, for a lot of us. But you're also, going to have that tendency to maybe be a little snappy. Mars also rules like war. So, that energy of like, going to war for things, or being really aggressive, or maybe taking actions before you think about something, saying something before you think about something. Aries is kind of the fire starter in a way. of that. So on the positive, you can have a lot of get up and go, which is needed. It's not, it's the opposite of overthinking energy. It's like, don't think, just do it. And that can go either way, right? And then same thing with angry. Like, my advice is that just know that if anger is coming up, it could just be something that you need to release, that you need to, or you need to accept. I remember that the specific topic that was bringing me a lot of anger, it was completely nonsensical. I mean, yeah, you could see if I told you, I don't want to say specifics, involves certain people. But if I told you the whole story, you might be able to get behind why I was angry. However, when I really look at it, it was a complete waste of my energy to be angry, right? When it was, again, you want to think about it, it's like, think about that Mars in Aries is like a ball of energy you're being given. And you can use that and like go run with it and go like create a program for your thing, go write a book, go, get the new workout routine going, like go use that to redecorate your house, like go use that to go do something good in your life, or you can go use it to be angry about things. Which is not productive. And so if that comes up for you, again, that's why, that Shake It Out exercise from the first full moon eclipse workshop that I'll put below, that workshop is free. And that Shake It Out exercise is also going to be really resonating with if you're experiencing some of this anger energy. But again, so we have this little fire under our tuchus, right, going, which is nice, which is refreshing. And then we also have some Jupiter and Pluto conjunction, which is really interesting. And so you have Jupiter, which is like the giver, right? The giver of blessings, luck, like just I think of showering you with gifts without, when I think about, I give all the planets personality. So when I think about Saturn is like the tit for tat kind of teacher, where it's like, okay, you finished one homework assignment, so I'm going to give you a gold star. But now you have to finish another homework assignment to get another gold star, whereas like Jupiter is like the teacher that like everyone gets a gold star. Like, here you go, everyone gets a gold star. Right? And so to have that beautiful Jupiter energy, the expansion energy, that growth energy with Pluto, which is the kind of going into the shadows, is really doing that kind of doing shadow work, I would say, is really looking at the underbelly, is interesting. So the way I see that for us personally is that in order to reap those blessings, or the blessings, right, are kind of completely attached to the work that we're doing to release those old traumas, to release those old wounds, to release those lineage. I think a lot of us are breaking lineage right now. Like, and what I mean by that is you're going to be the first person in your family to make that amount of money. You're going to be the first person in family to squash that belief that you can't marry someone you love, right? You're going to be the first in a long line that came before you to kind of rewrite the script. And there's going to be tremendous blessings in that. However, it's going to take you actually having to look at it. So, actually, it was just perfect. It makes so much sense for one of my beautiful, beautiful clients who's just doing so much amazing deep work. And I just love seeing how it's transforming her. But she is a perfect example of this, where she has a history of codependency in her family. And she really saw a situation that was coming up between her and her mom that she was ready to release. And so first she had to kind of go through the pain and the discomfort and the kind of whatever, let's say the funkiness, I'll call it, of really having to look at it, really having to own it, really having to see, okay, like there is this kind of this toxic pattern going in my lineage, and then do the courageous moves to shift that, to shift that, not only within her, but then shift it within her so she could shift it outside of her, so she could make that shift, so she could be a stand for the future she wants and not perpetuate the history, right? And so all of us are getting those unique opportunities in our lives, how it affects us, right? And so that could be a money belief for you. That could be a how relationships work belief for you. That could be a physical body belief for you. That could be how life works for you belief, right? Paying attention to those things, especially when you think about your parents or family, or again, this could be ancestry, this could be past lives, right? Beliefs that feel, or patterns that feel old, right? They're coming up right now for you to uproot them, for you to say, that ends with me, buddy. We're doing it differently now. And that's going to enter in a whole new level of blessings. And so then that brings us to the full moon eclipse in Capricorn with the sun in Cancer. So we're ending this eclipse season that we'll still be feeling for 6 months, but we're ending this eclipse season with this full moon in Capricorn. And so Capricorn is like mountain goat vibes. So you're like looking what the mountain is in front of you, and you've set your path, and you're going to climb that mountain, and nothing's going to stop you. Capricorn energy is, sometimes most of the times Capricorns are very successful. Capricorns also have incredible work ethic and focus, right? So that's a beautiful thing to think about as far as, okay, so now you have this beautiful fiery energy that's kind of lighting you up to be able to get that momentum, to be able to go climb that mountain, right? And you have that Jupiter Pluto that's helping you to break any of the shackles, the shackles that are weighing you down and pulling you back, and going to be the resistance that's that's stopping you from moving forward and getting that momentum on that mountain. Now we have the trifecta that comes in with this Capricorn full moon lunar eclipse to close out the craziest eclipse season. On a high note, in my opinion, on a high note for us, at least, especially on a high note for us individually, right? It's obviously a lot more complex when we look at how these affect the world and how these affect different government structures. But for the purpose of this podcast and for where I want you to be focusing your effort right now, I think, sometimes when we it's a tangent, but when we get too much into thinking about the astrology for like the government or the world or whatever it's going on in that way, I love that stuff. I mean, I love paying attention to it, but I like bringing it back down to the personal individual astrology, because this is where you have a lot of power. This is where you can truly be the change you want to see in the world. And by each and every one of us, all you beautiful people that are watching or listening to this, saying, okay, I'm going to capitalize on this energy. I'm going to get really clear about what that next mountaintop is for me. I'm going to get really clear about what my game plan is moving forward. And I'm going to release any of the things that I feel like are chaining me back or holding me back or bringing me resistance. Each and every one of us, by moving forward to that next mountaintop, that is the next level of soul expression for ourselves, is creating a consciousness shift in the world, is creating a ripple effect in the world. And so I think it's very important. It's also very important for everybody to be on mission at this time on the planet. And so when you take that time to really sit with yourself, and I think eclipses are great portals of clarity, because an eclipse, and I use this metaphor a lot, so forgive me for those of you that listen to all these, but a regular full moon is a flashlight in a dark room, and an eclipse is like one of those big movie spotlights in that same room. When an eclipse comes, you can't not see it, right? Everything is very, very much illuminated for you. And so Capricorn, I believe, is going to come in and illuminate the mountain that you're ready to climb right now. And, what that looks like. So what is that? Is that the desire on your heart right now? Is that the next goal? All of the things that are coming up for you right now. The thing, if you think about it as you're listening right now. First of all, when you listen to these podcasts, the things that come up into your head are not random. Okay, I'm intentionally planting seeds so that certain things sprout. And I mean that in the best way, right? So you are just going to be tuned in more right now to your divine download and your guidance about, okay, what is coming up for me with this moon? What does my soul's evolution need next? And so, whatever's coming up for you as I'm talking about this, if you're like, oh my God, this is finally opening myself up to love and calling in that life partner. If you're like, oh my God, this is finally saving up X amount of money. Oh my God, this is finally, me healing or whatever it is, whatever that thing is that's coming up for you right now, that's what your next mountain is. That is the next step. And so I want you to really get clear with yourself. Now, I like this visualization of the mountain, so just roll with me with it. If this thing that's coming up for you right now, this thing that's been illuminated as something that you really desire in your life right now, or you really, whatever that next step is for you, it's come up right now because you're ready for it. And the energy that you've been moving through and all of the growth you've been through in these past few weeks and everything that you've been, working on and dancing through has been meant so that you would be able to even fully own this desire, would be able to fully say, I want to climb that mountain, right? And now you're ready. And if you're honest with yourself right now and you look at that mountaintop, I want you to ask yourself, why don't I think I can't do it? I can do it. Why don't I think I can do it? Because if you thought you could do it, you'd already have done it. So another question you could ask is, why haven't I already done it? Right? And you're not asking this to make yourself feel bad. You're asking this because you want to see the things that trip you up along the mountain. You want to know, okay, well, where do I get 30 feet up and turn back? Where do I reach a river that I can't cross? Right? What are those little things that hiccup me? Are they beliefs? Are they habits? Are they relationships? What is coming up? Because that's what we're ready to release on this full moon. This Capricorn full moon wants us to create a plan. Get clear on your mountaintop. Come up with a game plan. How am I going to climb this mountain? And part of that game plan has to be acknowledging the hiccups, acknowledging the trickier terrain you might, right? And seeing what's there. So bringing that back down to earth, human terms, get clear on your goal. Ask yourself why you don't already have it, what fears come up around having it, why you think you might not be able to get it. Just be honest with yourself. It's just you and you. No one's making you look at this paper, right? Lying to yourself only hurts you, babe, because you can't get through it. So get clear on that. And then with that knowing, come up with a game plan. Come up with that game plan of okay, so now I know what I'm up against here. What is my game plan to do this anyway? So for instance, if one of the things is that your motivation wavers. This came up in my Spread Your Light Mastermind this week. They're like, how do you consistently feel motivated around your work? Right? And I laughed because I was like, it doesn't just happen. Right? Yes, I'm lucky. I do what I love. So it comes easier probably than most. But I am human. So there are times when I don't feel good. There are times when the astrology, throws me a curveball. There's times when life throws me a curveball. There's times when I just feel blah or want to, read a book all day on the beach, right? It happens. I don't leave my motivation to chance, which is a very Capricorn kind of quality of me, because I have certain things implemented in my day that ignite that fire. So one of the things I can do if I don't feel motivated that day is I can listen to my visualization of my next level life. Another thing I can do is I can meditate on my ideal clients and how I'm going to serve them. Another thing I can do is I can channel journal and ask guidance from God and my guides, right? I have a whole arsenal, right? I love listening to audiobooks and podcasts and things when I'm working out in the morning or just taking a walk in the morning so that I'm constantly fueling my own fire. Anyway, I give all these examples because those are the kinds of things you're going to think about in your game plan, right? You're going to think about in your game plan of saying, okay, if this is what I want, if this is what I'm up against, here are some things I can do to help that. And so some of your releasing tools, one, utilize this releasing in the full moon, do a ritual with it, however you want, whether you want to, one of my favorite letting go rituals is actually, it's at the beach, but you could do this at a lake, or you could just do this as a guided meditation, actually. Where you grab a rock or a shell and you feel the weight of it and you infuse it with something that you're ready to let go that's been weighing you down, and then you throw it into the ocean, right? I think that would be a beautiful thing you can do right now. And like I said, if you don't have an ocean or a lake, or you're not allowed to go to your ocean or lake, just do it as a visualization. See yourself sitting there at the dock, right, with all of those rocks and throwing them one by one, and releasing that. And then getting really clear on, if there's, like I said, action steps you're going to have to take to also help direct your course. It's an exciting eclipse because, like I said, it's really, I think, setting us up for individual success. It's setting us up to get to that next level. We've been through a lot. Now we have some energy. Now we have some clarity. Now we can really conquer some of the things that have been holding us back, and get there. The smoke has cleared. I actually have a workshop that as I was taking notes for this podcast, I was like, this workshop is so perfect for this because it's literally everything that this moon is and all of the conjunctions kind of going on right now. It's my From Fear to and Overwhelm to Clarity and Momentum workshop. So this is a workshop I did a few months ago, and it was before a time pre-COVID. And so when I was thinking about what I was going to do for this workshop, I was like, you know what? Actually, I would do the same exact thing I did in this workshop because it is perfect for this. And essentially what we do is we really get clear in the workshop as what is your vision? What are the fears that are blocking you that can create that overwhelm, that can create the fog? I call it the fear fog, right? And then how can we create that game plan moving forward so that you can take things to the next level? And so I'm going to put the link to that workshop below here. And it's originally $25, but in coordinates as a gift to you on our final eclipse of eclipse season, you can get it for free using the coupon code podcast. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to, throw $25 my way as a thank you. I will receive that gratefully. And if you want to take advantage of this free code and enjoy the gift and receive the gift, that's amazing too. Just use code podcast. Pretty easy. Put podcast when you go to sign out for it, and it will bring the total down to 0 because I really want as many people as possible to do this work. I really do believe the way we create an impact on a massive level is creating an impact on an individual level. So I'm truly want so many of you, I think especially, gosh knows a lot of us need to turn around, right? We want a lot. I know there's this energy of like craving the comeback right now, craving the shift. And I really believe that this workshop will be a foundational start to getting you in that headspace, and helping you move forward and having that game plan and getting the clarity that you need to know what mountain am I climbing and what do I need to know to climb it the most effectively. So enjoy, and please, as always, screenshot, DM me, let me know what's coming through for you as you're doing the workshop. I love seeing your story videos of you and your your sacred spaces doing the workshop. We do a juicy meditation in there, and I go over some of the tools that I do with a lot of my one-on-one clients. As well, I will mention I have 2 spots opening up this month for one-on-one coaching with me. I only take a very small amount of people at a time. So I'll include the link to apply for that below. And if you're someone that's really ready to go deep, you're ready to do this, you're ready to really get that momentum moving forward to being the fullest expression of your soul, to really, being a force of light in the world, then check out the application. Feel free to, like I said, DM me if you have any questions, and we can chat about that as well. And I'm just sending you all so much love. If you have a girlfriend or a friend that's just been feeling all the things in all this, send her this podcast. I think it'll bring her some clarity, some hope, and make her do the workshop with you. I think I can't recommend that enough. It's something that I do with a lot of my girlfriends, and I want to encourage all of you guys to do. Find a friend that will, do the workshop together, or obviously, do the workshop at home individually, and then talk about it. Like, set a date. Say, okay, we're both going to do it before Monday. And then on Monday morning, we're going to have a call and we're going to go over what came up for us and what our game plan is, and allow them to be your partner through this. Also, this is a really beautiful way. I know so many people reach out to me saying, I have friends that are just, I can't get through to, or I feel like are just like in a negative space and I can't shift it. I think one of the best things you can do in that situation is just give someone a tool. And oftentimes when it's a friend or a family member, it's too hard for you to be the teacher, right? They can't receive it from you because you're too close to home, and they get triggered or they feel their feelings around it. So if you send them a text or an email or however you want to do it and say, hey, I'm going to do this workshop this weekend. I just listened to this podcast. It made me feel more clarity. I'm excited about it. Whatever you want to say. I just wanted to send this to you. Let me know if you want to do the workshop with me, and then we can talk about it afterwards. That's a great way. And I just give this, whether it's with my workshop or another workshop, I think this is a great way to help people shift right now that are around you in a way that feels really open and loving. Because when you're saying, hey, I just listened to this and this helped, or I want to do this workshop for me, and then you invite them to do it as well, then they feel equal, right? They feel like, oh, I'm not alone. They're also feeling this. Oh, she's not saying like she doesn't need that workshop, but I need that workshop, right? And people are sensitive right now. People are all going through a lot of this hurricane, or feeling a lot of fear, feeling a lot of overwhelm. And so I just want to give you that there's someone in your life that came to mind. Send them the podcast episode, send them the workshop, ask them for, if they want to have a call, or I like to do like Zoom dates with my girlfriends afterwards to just chat about what came up, and also to be able to hold each other accountable for the game plan. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you truly enjoy the workshop. I'm so excited to hear what comes up for you on it. If you've already watched the workshop, if you did it with me live, I cannot stress enough to do it again. You already have access to it, but do it again right now, because it is perfect for this energy, and it's going to bring you those tools in this time is going to bring you a lot of clarity and a lot of momentum to move forward. And as always, if you love this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave me a 5-star review. This is the best way you can thank me for all this free content, is just helping other people know that it's good so they can find it and hopefully enjoy it just like you. And have a happy 4th of July.